Hello everyone, how's it going? So the third episode for the final season of The Boys released yesterday. I watched it a couple of times just to get an idea of what I thought of it, and honestly, I really did not like this episode. So the way this episode opens up, Soldier Boy is confirmed to be alive, as we saw in the previous episode where he just got up and he has a big press conference talking about how he's actually a huge patriot. It's basically just a propaganda, and they use all the buzzwords like AI and other generative content that's present right now in our real world. But yeah, they just try to boost Soldier Boy up as being this magnificent hero. He's getting all the glory, all the fame, all of that, and Homelander, who is just starving for that type of attention and that type of love, just comes out and just says he's my father, to Soldier Boy's annoyance. Now Homelander has been trying to win over his father for so long, similar to how he's also trying to get Ryan back, even though Ryan, it does play a role in this episode. But yeah, we see Ryan has been killing Russian soldiers where he's hiding out ever since the last season. But yeah, he's just still thinking about trying to gain that immaculate feeling of love that everyone he thinks should give him, like he just deserves it. And Soldier Boy just says the same things that he's been saying: you're a disappointment, you're pathetic. And Anthony Starr does a terrific job of just conveying that facial expression of hurt, disappointment, rage, like all of that is just painted on his face, and it's so well done. Jensen Ackles also does a terrific job as Soldier Boy. It took me a while to get used to him being the bad guy because I know him as Dean Winchester. He also plays Batman, but he does a terrific job as Soldier Boy, as being the jackass, and he's just looking at Homelander as just this pathetic piece of garbage. And we later find out when he hooks up with Firecracker, they're kind of having like a pissing match with guns. You know, it's basically them flirting with guns about big cock and all that stuff. Like, the Boys writers are not subtle. They're very obvious about what they hate and what they like. They're not really going to paint it in a very metaphoric term. So he hits on Firecracker, they sleep together, and then it comes out that she knows more about Homelander than even Homelander realizes. And to Soldier Boy, he thinks that he's trying to replace him, that he thinks he's better than him, and Firecracker just flat out says no. And the reason he sleeps with Firecracker is to get back at Homelander, thinking they're sleeping together, when she just flat out says no, we're not sleeping together, we've never even kissed. But yeah, she flat out tells him that he just wants, Homelander just wants Soldier Boy to be proud of him. That's all he wants. And you can actually see in this look of his face, he actually didn't realize that, and he actually tries to be more, I guess, compassionate. It's kind of weird with it. I don't know how he's going to play it off, but his facial expression comes off as like he didn't realize that, and maybe he should focus on that, because later on earlier in the episode, Homelander just has a complete just breakdown. Like, he was attention starved, he wants everyone to love him, and he has this huge horrible epiphany where Madeline Stillwell comes out as like an angelic figure. Again, they're not subtle about this. And she flat out tells him what he wants to hear, that he's the second coming of Jesus, he's even better than Jesus, the idea that he saved more people, that why would he care what these people want who don't like him, they're non-believers, and he has to kill them all in order to get the faithful to be the only one who are around who will love him, and he just gobbles it up. So why did Soldier Boy not die from the virus? Well, they discovered that it's because he is infected with V1. So V1 is the OG version of V. It is the original one where a lot of the contestants, a lot of the experiments just died. A lot of people were tested with V1 and only 5 people survived, and one of them was Soldier Boy. That's why he's still young, that's why he's near immortal. So he has a version of V in him that simply the virus cannot bind to, and because of that, he's immune to it. But Homelander is not. Since Homelander was infected with a later iteration of V, he can die from the virus. So with that understanding, he starts to realize, if I get this V1, which everyone says there is no version of it, and the person who made it is dead, that there's no way he'll ever find it. But Homelander, being the sadistic narcissist he is, decides to put all of Vought's resources to find in V1. He's not even hiding this at this point about his milk obsession, his unstableness. Like, he comes to Sage, who's trying to rebuild his reputation, and he just flat out says, hey, no, we got to just find the V1, put everyone on it, I don't care what you have to do. Sage kind of bleeds into the background. She's become a background character in this episode, which is fair. This is an episodic series, so maybe she'll have more of a role later on. And they're literally doing this Homelander youth special where they're like, if you want to join this type of organization, it's literally an metaphor for the Hitler Youth. It's just like, guys, I get it. Like, it's just like so obvious, and I don't know. Like, the people who write this, I don't know how I feel about it, because you guys could have done something a little more subtle than this, than just bashing it over the person's head and showing it them in their face. Like, there's a scene where the Deep and Noir are riding in a Cybertruck, and literally Fenchi just says Cybertruck, the entourage of cars, and spits on the floor. Like, I get it, you hate Elon Musk. It's just like, at this point, it becomes very tiresome. It just reminds me so much of that line, I believe, in the previous season, or the season before that, where the Deep talks to a writer and says, you get paid nothing, you're a writer. I just feel like they're infusing their own politics too much into this, and it breaks the immersion of the show because it's everywhere. Like, guys, we get it. But yeah, Homelander is just off the deep end. Soldier Boy is becoming more understanding of what Homelander wants, but he's gone. Like, he's basically gone. Now, Ryan does make an appearance in this TV show, which he's huge. Like, dear God, he just skyrocketed. He's no longer that little kid, and he does a good job. He's hiding out in Russia, and he's trying to keep a low profile. But the primary goal for the group right now is to find V1, because that's the only thing that Homelander is going to look for, and if he gets that, it's done. The virus won't do anything, and they're screwed for life. So their new goal is to shift to finding V1, where Butcher is like, no, we gotta toss the virus in Homelander's face before anything, because at this point, it's make it or break it. So Butcher and all of them decide to find Stan Edgar, which they easily do, because of course they do. They hide it among a Deus Ex Machina, but basically they find him in this bunker. And this is where I have a real problem with this episode. Despite Stan being an incredibly intelligent and manipulative person, the way he hides his bunker is so utterly stupid. Like, everyone finds it in this episode. It's so easy. And he doesn't even hide the bunker door. They walk into a barn where it's hidden, and it's just a big slab of metal that it's like literally a chest, and it's like a glowing chest in Fortnite. You're just looking at that and you're like, you didn't even try to hide it. Like, you could have literally just put like even the most thin paper wall over it, and it's just like, dude, you're supposed to be the most intelligent person there is. But yeah, Stan is hiding out with his granddaughter and Maverick, who is Translucent's son, who he apparently has a son. So they're hiding out in this bunker. He lies to Translucent because he wants to one day take over as CEO as Vought once again, and Translucent's son is going to be one of the 7 once Homelander is dealt with and he's reinstated. So yeah, they're lying to Translucent's son, Maverick, telling him that Homelander killed his father, when in reality it was the boys, and specifically Huey, who spends his time trying to get to know Maverick, which Huey's such an idiot in this episode. I get what he's trying to do, but you killed his father. You shouldn't be talking to him. So he tries to give him a pep talk, trying to compare his situation to when Robin died, and I'm just like, dude, you killed his father. You should not be talking to this guy. And then Annie comes up and gives him support, saying you're such a strong person. Glad. I'm like, dude, he's lying to this kid's face, who clearly is deeply hurt by his father's death. In fact, he wears like the most horrible body spray. Everyone says this is a horrible body spray made by Vought, and he wears it just so he can smell his father again. Like, this kid literally loved his father a lot, and it's just like the most dumb thing you can possibly imagine, because we all know what's going to happen. So, of course, they find Stan and his bunker, because, of course, the guy doesn't really hide himself very well. There's literally an escape hatch in the middle of, like, a field that anyone can see. He didn't even build it in the tree lining. It's literally just there. So, obviously, his granddaughter sneaks out of this to communicate with Ryan, because she's trying to get revenge for the death of her mother. She wants to kill Huey and all of them. And yeah, again, Huey also tries to talk to her, and he's like trying to be sympathetic. I'm like, dude, just shut up, walk away. But I don't know what Huey's doing here, because he's becoming more like Billy. Maybe that's the case, but he's just lying to everyone. Everyone's lying to everyone. So yeah, Ryan appears. They've been in communication with one another. Somehow Stan doesn't realize this at all. He doesn't even realize his daughter left the bunker. Like, you would assume one of the most intelligent people on the planet, the guy who ran one of the biggest companies on the planet, would know where his granddaughter is 24/7, especially considering that their mother is dead. And on top of it, they're lying about everything that's going on here. But, of course, she could just sneak out. There's literally even a camera pointed at the literal escape hatch bunker. Like, you would assume, like, given their advancement in AI technology and all that, there wouldn't be an alert that says someone opened the bunker. Hey, you don't even need AI technology. There is technology since 2000 that could tell you this stuff. It's just, people act so stupid in this episode. But yeah, she sneaks out, talks to Ryan. Ryan disagrees. He doesn't want to get involved in all this because he doesn't want to keep killing. He's killing in order to survive, but he's clearly not like Homelander, where Homelander's indifferent about killing. He kills to try and survive. But yeah, you can see Ryan is scared of becoming his father because Billy, of course, finds the hatch. He finds Ryan. They start talking, and Billy, being who he is, tries to manipulate Ryan into killing Homelander. He tells him everything he wants to hear, how they love their mother, how Homelander, what he did to to his mother, what they did to his wife. He gets him a beer. He tells him, hey, I'll give you this virus, throw it at Homelander's face, and it should kill him. And then he's like, well, what would happen to me? He's like, you'll die too, along with me and every other soup. And he literally manipulates the kid. He tells him how you have to try and kill Homelander. This is your destiny, to kill your father. It's just like, dude. And Ryan believes it because Butcher is just hitting all the nerves for this kid. He's a teenager. He lost his father. He lost his mother. He finds out his father is this horrible person. Everyone wants to use him to kill his father. It's just like, dude, he wants some sort of positive relationship, and everyone just keeps lying to this kid. And they also gas him up like he can take on Homelander. Anyone with common sense will know that Homelander will body this kid. Even if Ryan is on par with in terms of strength, which he's not, Homelander has like years, decades of experience using his powers. Like, there's no way he stands a chance against Homelander. Like, even throwing the virus in his face, like, not possible. But yeah, they gas him up. They have a beer together. He puts a tracker on. It's just like classic Billy just manipulating the kid. And yeah, so the little girl, the granddaughter of Stan, literally finds her father somehow. Again, Deus Ex Machina. I know it's in the show they make it like, oh, she tracked him down and everything. Again, Stan is completely oblivious that his granddaughter, the most important person in his entire world, just left the bunker to go find her father. She finds the father literally in the bunker where they're keeping him. No security, no, like, nothing. Finds him. And then they go ballistic. He finds out they've been lying to him. He starts to completely destroy all the virus. Frenchie's about to shoot him, but then Kimiko stops him, saying, we're not like Billy, just let them live their life. I'm like, Kimiko, where are they going to go? Like, literally, this guy created the virus. There's nowhere he can go that they will not find him. And on top of it, this guy, you're destroying the very thing, the only thing that can save you. Like, I know that it will kill his daughter too, but you would assume he would keep testing this because Vought's going to look for him. Not only Vought, Homelander. And you have zero defense against this guy. He will kill your daughter and kill you. And yet, like, I get that he's upset and angry and everything that's happening, but you're going to leave and go where exactly? Like, they're just, like, acting like idiots. And then it takes so long for Stan to figure out, where's my granddaughter? Like, where'd she go? I'm like, because the Deep, the Noir, they all find them in the bunker, in the large door that you can just see right there. And they're slowly opening the door, breaking through. They send Maverick out with gas in order to try and put them to sleep so they can escape. And at this point, the only really good scene in this episode is between Mother's Milk and Stan. So they're going through their weaponry to try and find what they can use. And they have a conversation about profits and companies that even if they kill every soup in the entire world, guess what? There's just going to be another company. There's going to be another situation that's going to bring the world to turmoil. It's all for the sake of currency and running profit, which is absolutely true. The world runs on money circulating. And Mother's Milk just flat out says, well, after all of this is done, my goal is to put a bullet through your head. And Stan's like, yeah, I understand. At that point, that's the only conversation that actually has any meaning towards it. So eventually, when Maverick gets caught because he's wearing that stupid ass deodorant and they find and smell him out, the Deep holds him by the neck and just flat out tells him what happened. At that point, he just turns on them instantly, which I can't blame the kid because, you know, this father meant a lot to him. It tells him the code to the bunker, which they were going to open eventually. And then at that point, it's a literal Hail Mary, a fight for survival. They try to escape with Stan, who betrays them. Noor captures them, and then they literally go in for fight for survival. Maverick finds Huey, almost kills him, but then the girl, I can't remember her name, because Maverick was right between Huey and her. And then she uses her powers to explode him, but we all know Huey survives to the end, so she killed Maverick. Starlight sees that and goes into a blood rage and just walks up to the girl and breaks her neck, but then she sees Huey is still alive. At that point, it breaks Annie. Like, she can't see Huey die. He's literally the only thing she has left. And then she leaves at the end of the episode to go do this on her own, which is, again, stupid because from the last multiple seasons of this show, neither of them can do this alone, and neither of them can let this go. So where does he think that Huey's going to stop? He's not going to stop, and you, by leaving, is making it actually less likely he'll survive, even though we know he's going to survive till the end. It's just like, yeah. But yeah, and then the episode ends with them capturing Stan, bringing him to Homelander. The Deep betrays Noir because he wants to get in Homelander's favor. And the biggest scene is Ryan confronting Homelander, not under Butcher's orders, but believing he can actually take on his father. So Homelander just tells him straight up, hey, look, I don't care about you anymore. I'm literally going to find V1 and become immortal so you can go do whatever you want. So it's the same thing he is going to say to Soldier Boy, I guarantee it, next time they see him, but he literally says just go, I don't give a damn. At that point, Ryan just goes into a blood rage. He attacks Homelander because of what he did to his father, and basically we get confirmation that he did indeed S8 his mother. Like, he keeps trying to play it off, saying, no, we had an affair, then his lie just keeps building up and said, look, she came on to me, and at that point we now have confirmation he did indeed do that to her. And then Ryan just keeps trying to fight. He keeps trying to fight. Like, Homelander is toying with him. Like, he uses his laser eyes. He uses his he uses his strength, and he just can't. Even Homelander lets him get a few hits on him. He's just like, Ryan, calm down. You don't know what you're doing and all that stuff. Until finally he gets fed up with it and then pushes him down, essentially, with little effort. And then he just starts to beat him. I think the biggest issue with this episode is they showed us that, unfortunately, Ryan does survive. I'm not saying that unfortunately that he's alive. It's unfortunate that they don't keep that into the next episode. That would have been a great hint to see, did he actually kill his son, because he said he has no use for him anymore. He was supposed to be his living legacy, and now that he believes he's going to be immortal, if he finds V1, that's going to be it. But Ryan does survive the encounter. Billy finds him, and you can see he's just utterly broken. Everyone was gassing this kid up, telling him that this is his destiny to kill his father, that his life will have meaning, and I think deep down he believes this will also avenge his mother. But he's just broken at this point. I don't think there's anything that's going to help him, because he tried to fight his father. He got completely bodied. There's no way he's going to be able to do what everyone keeps telling him to do, to turn him into a weapon to fight his father. But yeah, and Stan is now back with Homelander, and he's going to try and extract whatever information he can get about the location of V1, which they think they know where it is, because Mother's Milk, again, hacks into the database to find out where it is, because there's a big square that's blanked out that says that's where the facility is, which you would assume that they wouldn't put a blank square there. They would just, like, replace it with, like, some sort of random location just to hide it. But yeah, there's literally a big, obvious blank square, like, look here. But yeah, that's the episode. I really think that this episode was just so poorly written. The characters act like idiots. They have no idea what they're doing. Everything varies from one situation to the next because of convenience. Like, what really just annoys the hell out of me of this episode is the mere fact that Stan didn't have, like, some sort of tracker on his granddaughter. The fact that he didn't see her go outside the bunker. The fact she was able to leave without anyone, like, even knowing that she was gone until the time limit ran out. About now they have to know where she is. How she was able to find her father, like, just, like, walking out and then discovering him. How he didn't think of, hey, Homelander and Bot are going to be after us. We can't go into hiding because they will find us. So we need some sort of variation, but we're going to destroy all our work, so we have no way to defend ourselves. It's just like one stupid thing after another. Like, the only character that really holds up is Soldier Boy and Homelander. Like, Soldier Boy literally is just like, I don't care about any of this. I'm not going to play second fiddle to anyone. I'm the best. I will be the leader of the Seven. This is my position, and I'm not going to play second fiddle to anyone. And then there's Homelander, who just completely goes, like, he just goes off the deep end. He's like, he strongly believes he's this religious figure who will save everyone, and anyone who doesn't fall in line deserves to die. He's just gone at this point. So I kind of like that fact, but also it's like, dude, guys, come on, cool it with the milk at this point. Like, I get it, he's obsessed with it, the whole, like, I don't know. Like, at this point, it was cool at first in the sense that it showed his psychotic nature, but the fact that it's now everywhere and he doesn't care, I feel like at some point he would get tired of it, or maybe just stop playing into it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's just like it's overdone. Maybe that's the best way to phrase it. It's overdone, and instead of being this shocking factor that calls back to that horrific sense of psychopathy that he has, it's just shoved in our face. Just like how the writers hate Elon Musk, how they relate Homelander to the SS. Like, guys, at least have some subtlety to this. Like, you're just breaking the entire immersion of the show and just literally playing politics to try and convince us about your own views in the modern day society. And I get this, the boys have been doing this since season 3, but could you be a little more subtle about it? It just feels like it's poor writing, in my opinion. I'm not trying to be political in the sense of trying to convey my politics. I'm just saying that it becomes tiresome when you're constantly fed this information, even in the show. But I really think that episode 3 is really bad. I hope that episode 4 will bring back the characters acting smart in some degree and not complete idiots. But tell me what you think in the comments below. I did like the first 2 episodes, but this one is definitely a downer. So that's it for me. Goodbye.